everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is perpetual motion, the day where we never stop moving. I had to think about that for a second. You could tell how my day's going. Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome back after your weekend. I hope it was a good weekend. I'm feeling really stressed and overwhelmed these days, so I'm very pleased to announce that my vacation week is now official. So the week of the 28th, so not next week, but the week after that, I will be taking a full week off, and I think that I will probably set up VODs to run on my channel during the usual class times, although I'm not 100% on that. But they will not be live classes that particular week. They will be rebroadcasts of earlier classes, because I realized that I haven't had a semblance of a vacation since late February. And it wasn't a particularly relaxing trip. And it led almost immediately into COVID. So it's been a while. And, I want to always model the things that I tell you are good and healthy to do. And resting is one of those things. Respecting your body and your mind when they are yelling at you that you need to take some time off, some time for yourself, some time where you are not feeling pressured or beholden to anything. It's really important, and so many of us are bad at it, including me. So I'm trying to practice what I preach. So obviously not relevant this week or next week, but just to give you a heads up, when I was still teaching in-person classes at the BRC, my mentor would start letting people know about days when the gym was closed, like 3 months before the actual day. And there would still be people who would show up on the day the gym was closed, being like, "Wait, what's going on?" So I'm, obviously not starting notifications 3 months in advance, but I figure 2 weeks is enough time. But we're here. I just had a lovely bike ride home, although I am sad to report that smoke has made its way back to Colorado, and apparently to Toronto as well. I have family who live in Toronto, and apparently they've gotten some of the smoke from the West Coast fires. So, humanity's doing a great job right now. But today is Perpetual Motion class, the day where we don't stop moving. So I'd say it's about time to get ourselves kicked off. So if you are new to this class, just a heads up, when we say that we never stop moving, we mean it quite literally. So normally, in most other classes, I would run some type of a timer, a Tabata timer, or perpetual motion timer. It would run for a set amount of time. And when it was done, you would get rest, get to sort of stand there, drink water, not have to move around. On perpetual motion days, when the timer comes to an end, we start what we call our active rest exercise, which for us is cross jacks. And I will demonstrate that when it actually becomes relevant at the end of the warm-up. But it's super easy to pick up, and basically just don't stop moving. Just, do a little hop, a little jump while I'm demonstrating it, if you don't already know what a cross jack is. And otherwise, just know that every time the timer comes to an end, you start doing that exercise. Okay, so we're doing a long race today. We're doing a half marathon. I think in terms of half marathons, because that's the length of running based race I've done. So we're doing a half marathon today, and our goal is to not stop moving for the entire hour. Okay, so it feels a little intense, it's a little stressful, but man, It's going to give you a good workout. All right, let's do our quick pre-class checklist, my friends. Everybody got your water? I have a new water vessel today. Instead of a pint glass, I've got this giant mason jar that I can barely get my hand around. And it actually is probably holding more water than the pint glass does. So make sure you have your water holding vessel, whatever it is. You got your comfy clothes on, you've got your mat or your mat sized space on the floor. And if you're using a fitness wearable, let's turn them on right now. Whoa, weird. I biked home a little bit ago, and every way that I usually take is basically exactly 5.5 miles. And I apparently added just enough time on with this third way that I took that it was almost an entire mile difference. That is weird. All right. Anyway, fitness wearable. Oh my God. So turn it on to high intensity interval training if you're using it. Also, there is absolutely never any pressure to use a fitness wearable. It's something that I use just because I got the watch and I like it. For me, it's useful. If it is not useful for you, if it's not a useful tool, or if you don't own one, it is completely unnecessary. Okay? We've been exercising just fine for centuries without fitness wearables. So if that is not your jam, or you don't have the money for the extra tech, or you tried it once and the notifications were so anxiety inducing that you hated it, totally fine. I bring it up in the checklist because it's something I do and I know it's something that some people do. So, but that never means that it's a requirement or anything silly like that. All right. Everything is ready. I'd say it's time to start with our warm-up. Woo! Oh my goodness. All right, my friends. So, everybody who has taken class for a while knows what the warm-up is. Everybody who is new, you're going to come over here and we're going to start on our mats, on our backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And as soon as you hear the horn go, we're going to start with hip rocks and bridges. And I'll start doing them in just a sec. Hey! I don't think that's too loud. Who knows? Oh man, I can tell that we're moving towards winter because the sun is in a very different position than it usually has been at 5:45 p.m. Wow. All right, so we're doing our hip rocks and bridges, okay? So first, I'm just rocking my hips up into the air. Then I put that standing foot down on the floor. I come up to the ball of that foot and I just bridge my hips up like that, bring them down, and do the whole thing again. For all of this, and for the entirety of the warm-up, remember, we are not here to try and go for maximum power and energy right now. This is a warm-up. This is the opportunity to boot up all of the systems that we need for exercising. So we're not here to try and immediately go to 11 with our exercising. So you'll notice that I am not rocking my hips up particularly high. I'm not bridging particularly high, and that is deliberate. I want to make sure that I'm activating the muscles that should be activated by these movements, by these exercises. But I also do not want to run through all of my energy in the first 15 minutes of class and then have nothing left for the remaining 45, especially on Perpetual Motion Day, when we will be moving for a much greater proportion of the overall class time than we usually do, because we are moving for 100% of the class time, which is not what we do on the other days. So make sure that you are taking it easy. All right, now we're going to roll onto one side and start our leg sequence. So there are going to be 3 exercises here. So don't roll over to your other side once the horn goes off again. So we're starting with our best Jane Fonda leg lift. So lying on one side, engaging the core so that your hips aren't trying to roll backwards or forwards. We're trying to keep our body in a completely straight line. If that is not something that you can sense spatially yet, then you can use the line of your mat to help you determine what a straight line feels like for your body, okay? One thing I also recommend is engaging the glute on the working leg, not pulling the working leg, but just engaging the glute is going to pull that leg into line with the rest of the body. Feels really weird the first time you do it, but I promise it helps. All right, taking that top foot, putting it flat on the floor in front of that bottom knee. We are lifting the bottom leg, okay? So this is exercise number 2 of our sequence here. And our aspirational position is to have that knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling, okay? Not caving forward like that. Because we're not actually putting any weighted pressure on this leg right now, if your knee is caving in, if it is not staying up easily, it is less concerning to me. This can truly be, okay, something I'm working towards. How you work towards that is engaging the muscles in your hip joint to pull that leg back, pull that knee so that it can point more towards the ceiling, okay? This is a great time to practice that, honestly. All right, now we've taken that top foot, we've put it flat on the floor behind the bottom knee. We're still lifting the bottom leg. And this is our last leg exercise on this side. Then we'll roll over to the other side and do all 3 again. But this is our most relaxed, beachy position because we're not worried about our balance anywhere. You know, this is nice and comfortably just providing a nice stable surface. And so we're not worried about falling in any direction, so we can really just concentrate on lifting that bottom leg, okay? And really just checking in on what are the muscle groups that I feel engaging when I lift this leg, because we want to start learning how it feels when our bodies do different exercises and when different muscle groups engage, okay? It's all really useful info. All right, we are on our second side now. So we're doing all 3 of those exercises again, starting with our Jane Fonda, okay? In terms of the foot positioning on the working leg, I generally keep mine flexed. That's mostly personal preference, honestly, more than anything else. Honestly, I go back and forth between flexed and more neutral, just hanging position. But if you have dance training and you would rather point your foot when you're doing this leg lift, that is totally fine. Just make sure you're keeping the leg parallel, okay? We're not trying to turn the leg out as we lift it, okay? It's honestly dealer's choice. All right, top foot flat on the floor in front of that bottom knee, lifting that bottom leg. Now you'll see on this side, this is my weaker side, not weaker, but my less flexible hip, okay? So if I am not engaging the muscles in my hip to pull my knee back a little bit, it will tend to start caving forward. That's just sort of what it wants to do naturally. So I have to engage a little more of the musculature over here to keep it in that nice safe position. Although I will note that I am noticing today that I am not having to work as hard to keep my knee in this position, which means that my strength and my flexibility are probably improving over these months of doing this stream. So awesome thing to feel. We love feeling that no matter how long we've been doing this. All right, last leg exercise before we move into our section working on warming up our backs and our hips. So the next section is going to be more active stretching, basically. So there's active stretching and there's static stretching. Generally, we will keep static stretching to the very end of class when we are fully warm, when our muscles are fully warm. Just makes them a little more pliable, makes it a little easier and safer to hold in some of those stretch positions. When we're warming up to do our exercise class, it's better to do active stretches, so stretches where you get the stretch, but you are also still constantly moving, so you're not just holding in a stretch position. So that's what we will be moving into next, starting with scorpion twists. All right. So we're gonna lie flat on our stomachs, plant our forearms on the ground, and we're just gonna start swinging one leg back and behind us, trying to get that foot flat on the floor, trying to get that knee pointing up towards the ceiling, and then we'll go towards the other side. The most important thing to remember on this is that your elbows, your forearms, have to remain glued to the floor, okay? If you can't hit this position with your foot totally flat and your knee totally up towards the ceiling without lifting your elbow, then you can't hit that position yet, okay? So make sure you're being really honest with yourself and keeping those forearms planted, all right? Hey, all right, we're standing. Woohoo! Standing time. Okay, so we are holding an imaginary length of PVC pipe above our heads, and we're just doing some nice big torso rotations, changing directions every couple of rotations so that we even ourselves out, because we're only going to do this once. We're going to switch to another exercise when the timer runs out, so we want to make sure that we're nice and even. But remember that you're initiating movement from your hips, okay? So not initiating movement by moving the arms and then following. Your arms are going to stay in the same position relative to your head throughout the circle. And I'm moving, I'm letting my hips, I'm letting myself basically flat back forward and bring myself around. All right, still holding that pipe. We've taken our feet somewhere between hip and shoulder width apart, and we are doing squats, okay? Still holding that imaginary pipe above our heads. So again, we don't want the arms to be moving around a ton. And this is our first opportunity to check in on our squat form, and particularly making sure that our knees, as we squat down and stand up, are going straight over our feet, okay? So they're not trying to cave in towards each other, all right? So if you're not able to do the squat without your knees caving in towards each other, then take a narrower stance and do it there until you feel strong enough there that you can widen again, all right? All right, we can throw our imaginary poles down and go into our Samson stretches. I have no idea why it's called that. Exercise classes is just like this wild, wild west of, I had a teacher who called this movement this totally random thing, and so that's what I call it. And someday I'll meet a person who does the exact same exercise but has a totally different name for it. So if I'm ever giving a name to an exercise up here and you're like, huh, I always thought it was called, Y, not X, it's entirely possible that you have heard it called that. And it's just, lingo that I have picked up in my own travels. All right, now we're coming down to this nice, wide, turned out squat position. Hands on the knees, again, to keep them safely over the feet, and we're just going to be twisting our shoulders in towards the midline one at a time, okay? So first one, then the other. That's the only thing moving right now are our shoulders. We're not coming up and down out of the squat position. We're not letting our knees follow our shoulders as they come in towards the midline. We're just keeping everything else nice and stable and just moving those shoulders, getting a nice twist in the upper back, and getting ready to enter into the final phase of warm-up, which is cardio. So we're starting with jumping jacks, and even here in the cardio section of our warm-up, we are still not going for 100% power and energy, okay? Think of this as the last steps in the sequence, okay? So getting our cardiovascular system going, you know, our heart rate starts going a little faster, our breath starts coming a little faster, moving that oxygen more quickly through the body, and just completing the notification to body and brain that yes, we're exercising, we're here for another 45 minutes, so y'all better get your act together because the fun has just begun. Okay, so all right, now we're coming down to do kick throughs, and if you've never done a kick through before, it is our most complex exercise. So I am going to come up on one hand and one leg, the opposite leg, and then I'm going to kick my free leg across my body, and then I'm going to come through the middle and switch to the other side. And so I'm just going to go back and forth between those two sides. Now, the standing leg, you need to make sure, again, knee pointing up towards the ceiling, leg at a 90-degree angle, not sinking all the way down to the floor like this, and not letting the knee cave in towards the midline, because both of those, when you go to twist to the other side, will put some really unhealthy pressures on your knee, okay? All right, last but not least, here we are for burpees. So make sure that you are doing a wave push-up, not a plank push-up, and that you're doing a nice victory club up at the top. And remember, just start prepping yourself for the fact that when that final horn goes off, instead of getting to stop moving, you are going to go immediately into your cross jacks, your active rest exercise. And I'll show you what that looks like, but I don't want you to stop moving and then go, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to still be moving. Well, it's fine, I had a little rest there. All right, so immediately up, and we're doing cross jacks. So you have three options for your active rest. Cross jacks, it's basically the same jump as a jumping jack, except crossing your feet one in front of the other each time, and just keeping your arms at waist level and crossing them one over the other each time, okay? The other variations I'll accept. If you want to just kick the feet forward like this, totally fine. Or if you want to just do a little bit of a jump side to side, that's also totally fine. The most important thing is just that you keep moving the whole time, okay? You all will probably want to make sure that your water is somewhere at standing height so that you can easily access it without stopping your exercise, okay? All right, my friends. Let's see here. Speaking of water, time to drink some water. All right. Even though we are moving the whole time, we are still hydrating all through class. It is still just as important. Just like if I was running a half or any type of race, I would be drinking water the whole time. I mean, not literally the whole time, but I would be having water at regular intervals, even though I'm trying to drink the water and continue running. It's awkward, but it's still important. So make sure you have figured that out, okay? All right. We are going to go back and forth between a perpetual motion timer and one of our guided back and forth timers, okay? So, our first 3 exercises and our perpetual motion timer is going to be 45 seconds, alrighty? I know, I said that at the beginning, that I had a different water container today. I don't even know where my water bottle is gone. I think it got hidden away. In a fit of cleaning. So here are 3 exercises for our first perpetual motion timer. So we're going to start with squat with a knee raise. So we're going to take that nice about shoulder width position for our feet, okay? And you're going to squat down, remembering what I said about squat form when we were doing the warm-up, making sure those knees are going straight over the feet the whole time, okay? So we squat down, and then as we stand up, I want you to come up onto one leg and raise the knee up, and then back down and other side. So you're just going back and forth, okay? Second exercise is going to be side-to-side superheroes, which you know I don't assign very often because my math situation is not ideal for them, but hopefully you have a better setup than I do. All right, so on your side, lifting both arms and legs off the ground, you're going to roll over your back, not over your front, over your back, and you should feel your core engaged, keeping your arms and legs off the floor, and then up onto the other side, and then you're just going back and forth and back and forth. Remember that you do not need to keep your body in a straight line when you roll up on your side. So unlike the Jane Fondas, I'm basically bending my body into like a U shape, especially as I get more momentum going. It's just easier to balance that way, okay? And then third exercise is going to be double-legged mountain climbers, alrighty? So we're gonna start in that plank position, shoulders directly over the wrists and butt out of the air, but instead of just driving one knee after another up towards the chest, we are going to jump both legs forward. So my knees are on the outside of each of my elbows, and then back, and we're just going to go forward and back and forward and back. So if I show you that from the front, when I jump my legs forward, my knees are on either side of my elbows, okay? So those are our 3 exercises: squats with the knee raise, side to side, superheroes, and double-legged mountain climbers. So everybody cross jack onto your mats, and as soon as you hear that horn, you will be doing squats with the knee raise, okay? So there we go. So squat with a knee raise. And remember, perpetual motion class comes with perpetual motion work intervals, which means that when you hear the next horn, you move immediately into the next exercise, okay? So no trying like moving really slowly, being like, I'm still moving. No, you want to minimize the amount of time it takes you to move from the exercise you're currently doing to the exercise that you need to start doing next, okay? That is our starting on time definition for our bare minimum triad, okay? So you saw how little time it took me to get into the side-to-side superheroes there. So that is what we want. We want, and you should be thinking about it as you're doing this exercise, remembering, okay, what is my next exercise? All right, it's double-legged mountain climbers. What's going to be the easiest way for me to start doing that exercise and to move into that position quickly, okay? So then we start doing the exercise like that. Oh man, thank you. Mods are great. Friends, if you want to be a streamer, always get yourself some mods you can trust. It's important. All right. So double-legged mountain climbers, one of the most important things is that you get a nice consistent rhythm going. So you're not jumping forward, sort of bouncing around, and then jumping back, but you're going, as soon as your feet hit one position, you are immediately moving into the next position, okay? So that can be really hard to manage when you're doing any of the versions of double-legged mountain climbers. So I understand if you jump back into that plank and you're like bouncing a little bit before you jump forward. I've been there, I've done that, I totally get it. It's not what we're trying to do, okay? So just keep that in mind, that your goal is to be moving constantly, to be able to be like, okay, as soon as my feet land forward, I am jumping them back. As soon as they land back, I'm jumping them forward. But right now, we just finished our second run of squats with the knee raise, and now we are in our second round of side-to-side superheroes. It's such an odd exercise. I do really enjoy it when I have a better mat set up, but it can definitely be one of those exercises that takes a little bit of time to figure out, is this actually doing anything? And if you have those experiences with exercises where you're like, I can't honestly tell if this is doing what it's supposed to be doing, there are a number of possible reasons. One could honestly be that the exercise itself is below your current, strength, power, speed level, and so you are not going to immediately feel the impacts of it unless you are doing many more reps or otherwise increasing the intensity. One of the reasons might be that you're doing the exercise incorrectly, and that's why we talk so much about form here in this class. Those are the two big ones, and I think it's important to check if you're doing an exercise and you're like, I really don't feel like I'm working the areas that she tells me I'm supposed to be working. Really check in and go, am I actually doing the exercise correctly? Am I doing the exercise the way she described it to me? Because a lot of times, that's what the answer is. The answer is, oh, no, I'm, trying to compensate with a totally different muscle group, or I was, rolling over my stomach instead of over my back. That is a common mistake with, specifically with our side-to-side superheroes here, is people rolling over their stomach, not over their back. And so they're not actually using their core to keep their arms and legs off the ground the whole time. You know, and we talked to a lot about how core exercises in particular tend to be the most prone to people trying to compensate with the wrong muscle groups. So trying to pull yourself along using your head or your neck or your arms and that kind of thing. You know, so just keep that in mind when you're doing an exercise and you're like, I really am not feeling what I'm supposed to be feeling here. Do a check-in and remind yourself of what the form is supposed to be, and then check in and see if that form feels correct, okay? 9 times out of 10, I am betting that will fix the issue, okay? All right, immediately back up on your feet doing your cross jacks, okay? So whatever version of them that you're doing. Good grief. All right, and make sure to grab some water. Yeah, I'm taking it a little easy right now because I just biked home, so definitely already got some good exercise in beforehand. All right, so our next section is going to be a guided back and forth. And this is going to be not the Simon Says version of the guided AMRAP. This is going to be our little 2-minute burst where I am setting a rhythm by which you are doing the exercise. And there's only 2 exercises, so that's good. That makes that easier. So our 2 exercises are going to be squat jumps and toe squats. So for squat jumps, we're taking that same about shoulder width position for the feet that we took when we were doing squats with the knee raise. And we're just squat and jump and jump and jump and jump like that, okay? And then for our toe squats, as you know, feet in about a hip width position, and then showing you from the side, we're trying to keep our back straight up and down the whole time. So we're going to squat all the way down, letting our heels come off the floor when they need to, and then standing back up and just going down and up. So I'm going to set a pace, and I'm going to call out, you're going to be doing 5 squat jumps and 4 toe squats, okay? So that is going to be consistent each time. So you don't have to think about too much other than you have to keep pace with the beat that I'm providing. So it'll be and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump like that, okay? All right, everybody doing their cross jacks, back on your mats, getting ready for the crazy. Ready? Okay. 5, 6, and here we go. And jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats. Down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and that's the end. Good job. Woo! Oh, make sure you went back to whatever version of the active rest. I know how much you just want to stop moving, but we're running a race today, all right? And it's not a sprint. It's a half. Good job, though. Good job. Everybody get some water in. We're going to do that a couple more times, okay? So there will be some repetition of that. But now you have the structure, so it'll be easier each time. Exactly. All right. Now we're going back to our perpetual motion timer, our 45-second timer. 3 new exercises. So we are going to start with a box curtsy. Don't have a box? It's all right, neither do I. So we are going to stand here on our mat, and we're just going to slowly bring our leg behind us and come down into that one-legged squat. Then stand, reset, and to the other side. And we're just going to go back and forth between those 2 legs. Try not to put too much weight on the back leg, but recognizing that there's not really a great way around that unless you actually have an activity box that you can stand on to do this exercise. So don't worry too much about that. Second exercise is going to be push-ups. So you can do any version. You can do straight up plank. You can do from the knees. You can do wave, push-up. You can plank down and wave up. The most important things are keeping your shoulders directly over your wrists. That nice plank position, even if you're going from the knees, try to go from a plank, then just let the knees down. And you see that I keep that length even though I've got the knees on the floor. And then when you do the push-up, keep your elbows right in by your sides, all right? Don't let them flare out, okay? And then third exercise is going to be bicycles, which is a core exercise. So on your backs, and you're going to contract your core so that it lifts your shoulders up off the ground. And I'm going to have one knee pulled in towards my chest, the other leg fully extended but off the floor. And I'm just going to reach my opposite elbow to this knee and then switch. And I'm just going to go back and forth, back and forth. I'm not putting my hands behind my head because when we do that, we have a tendency to try and pull ourselves forward rather than actually engaging with the core, okay? So make sure that you're not trying to pull yourself forward with your head, your neck, your arms, but you're actually engaging those abdominal muscles so that you can keep your body, your shoulders up, and then engaging the obliques so that you can turn and tap elbow to opposite knee, back and forth, all right? You will feel the difference, I promise. All right, my friends. So everybody cross-checking back over to your mats, and we're gonna get that timer going. So remember our 3 exercises: box curtsy, push-ups, and bicycles. So as soon as you hear that timer go, you will stop doing your cross jacks and start doing your box curtsy. All right? And this is a slow but steady exercise. You don't have to be going super quickly back and forth. Really want to focus in on taking as much of the weight on the forward leg as possible to better mimic, if we were doing this from on top of a box, you would not be tapping the other foot to the floor at all unless you were really far down there. So you really want to try and get as much of the benefit of the exercise as possible. Really try to focus that, all right? All right, and now we're here for push-ups. Again, making sure those shoulders are directly over the wrists and fully engaged, all right? Your shoulders play a huge role in keeping this position stable and strong while you do the push-ups, okay? So you don't want to be just letting yourself like sink down or anything. You want to really make sure that they're safely positioned, nice perpendicular line between my arm and the floor, and that they are actively engaged and not just, you know, along for the ride. All right, and now for our first run of bicycles. So again, check in. Are you actually contracting your core? If you are, you will feel it. It will get tired, just like every other muscle group gets tired as you use them, okay? If you're not feeling fatigue in your core, that is a pretty good signal that you are not actually activating those muscles, okay? All right, second time through, my friends. So you're back to those box curtsies, and man, my band hammer is out in force today. Thank you, as always. Yes, always get yourself some good mods. Now is as good a time as any to remind everyone watching that this is an exercise class. Our focus is fitness, our focus is working out, and I have a zero tolerance policy for people who come into my chat and get weirdly, creepily sexual with me. You are immediately banned, blocked, reported by one of my delightful folks with the swords by their names. So please keep that in mind. If you're here to take class or even to just hang out and chat with people, that's totally awesome. But if you are going to come in here and make inappropriate sexual comments to a stranger, then you're getting booted out immediately, all right? So always a good thing to remind people of every once in a while. Yeah, so there we go. That's our chat policy. Man, someday when we're teaching class, I'll go on a rant about how frustrating it is that I have to have that policy in place, but yeah, it's necessary. All right, my friends, where are we? You are on your second set of bicycles. Awesome. All right, so how does your core feel the second time around? Is it feeling fatigued? Are you feeling that it's a little bit harder, a little more intense to try and perform the exercise, keep yourself in that position? Awesome, that means you're doing the exercise correctly, okay? So keep that in mind, that you want to be feeling super increasingly tired in those muscle groups, because that means that you are using the correct muscle groups. So yay for that. All right, we are on our final time through. Here we are doing our awkward box curtsies. Really just becomes a giant ground level curtsy. I could probably just call it curtsies and you would get the intent of the exercise. But again, old habits die hard, and this is how weird fitness terminology is born. So at some point, years from now, some new teacher will be doing an exercise like that, calling it the box curtsy, one of her students will go, "Why do you call it that when you're not actually doing the exercise off of a box?" And she'll have no idea except that her teacher called it that. And so now she does. All right. And remember, I give you full control over the version of push-ups that you want to do. So whatever you think you can maintain for the 45 seconds is totally fine. All right? When I give you that many possible modifications, I really do mean it when I say that I am totally fine with you using whichever one you prefer. All right? So don't be there being like, "Well, I'm supposed to be doing a plank push-up. I know she gave us all these other options, but clearly I'm supposed to be doing a plank push-up." No, I gave you those options so that you could use them. So, all right, back up and into your cross jacks or your little side-to-side jumps, whichever feels right for you. All right, my friends. I would just like to point out too that my mods operate the band hammer while also taking class, so they're doubly heroes. All right, make sure you're drinking your water, because I know I am feeling very dehydrated, and the smoke's coming back. It's supposed to be even worse tomorrow. I mean, it's even worse in other areas. I have friends up in Seattle who, their carbon monoxide alarm went off today, just because of the amount of smoke coming up from California and Oregon. So it's pretty terrifying. So if you are doing class from a heavily impacted area, or you are seeing the haze from the wildfires, please make sure you're staying safe. I'm glad you're indoors doing class. It's probably healthier for all of us to breathe as little of that air as possible. But yeah, stay safe, and make sure if you are anywhere near any of the more dangerous zones, please make sure that you are ready to move when you need to. Okay. All right. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do another set of those guided back and forth. So same exercises, same structure. So we don't even have to go over the form because you've already done this once. So you're naturals. All right. Okay. So everybody cross-checking back onto your mat. And get ready. You're still cross-checking, but you're getting prepared to go into the squat jump, followed by the toe squats. All right? No, come back, timer. All right. 5, 6, and here we go. And jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and Toe squats down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and back. 2 jumps and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. Toe squats down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and last time through. And jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. Toe squats down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and up. 2 and down. 2 and that's the end. Woo! All right, back to your cross jacks. We're kicking those feet forward if that feels better. Jumping side to side if that feels better. Whatever works. Whatever works. All right. Oh man, we have one more perpetual motion timer and then calf awareness, and then we'll be done, okay? So we're close. We're getting so close. All right, my dears. So for our final menu of perpetual motion goodness, we will have the following. First, we will have a turtle plank. So if you've taken class with me long enough, you know that anytime I say turtle, it starts with rolling up onto your shoulders and then up onto your feet, okay? So we are going to roll up and up, plant the hands, jump back into a plank like that, and then just jump right back forward, rock, and plank, and rock, and plank, okay? So that's the first one. Second one is going to be lunge to the hand or elbow. So we're going to take this nice deep lunge, straight leg behind you, and then do one of three things. Either just bring your hand down to the floor, ow, there's something on the floor, or bring your hand down and then you can bring your elbow down, or bypass the hand completely, come right to the elbow. Then stand up, go to the other side, same thing, and just move back and forth, okay? And then our third exercise is going to be TikToks. So for our TikToks, I want you to start balanced on your tailbone in this pike position, arms straight, hands together to one side of your knees. Extend your body outwards just far enough that you can bring the arms over, then back up, and up, 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 okay? So those are our three exercises. We've got turtle planks, we've got lunge to the hand or elbow, and we've got TikTok. So make sure you have cross-jacked back to your mat, and that as soon as you hear that horn, you are ready to start your turtle planks. Whee! Make sure that you don't run into anything as you do this giant roll. Spatial awareness is very important for, any class, but particularly where we're working out in spaces that are not necessarily designed for that activity, okay? Even in a gym, it's really important to make sure that you are spatially aware of who and what is around you. But when you're at home and the objects that are around you are you know, expensive and heavy electronics and bookshelves and chairs, it becomes just as important, if not more so, to be like, okay, I need to make sure that I know where I am and that I know where everything else is at all times while I am doing class. Whew. Oh man, this is a really nice active stretch. It's basically a continuation of the Samson stretch from our warm-up, just going a little bit deeper, a little bit farther down, okay? So now you're doing your TikToks. Make sure that you are able to move your arms from side to side without either bending at the elbows or lifting them over the knees. All right, that's why we extend out a little bit so we can bring them over without having to do either of those things, and then pull back into the full pike position, okay? So keep that in mind. Oh man, my friends, you're on your second time through, and this has all been really intense. You haven't stopped moving, and you're not going to get to stop moving at the end of this timer. However, calf awareness, if you haven't done it yet, is, sorry, just giving myself a chiropractic adjustment here. Calf awareness is the ultimate sort of active but plyometric exercise. So you are really going to be able to rest, even though you're still technically moving. After this one is done, when this timer finishes, I will have you go back into your cross jacks for just a second, but then we're doing calf awareness, which is a lot of balancing. So great opportunity to really get the heart rate down, get the breath rate down, and then we'll be done, all right? So the light at the end of the tunnel is approaching very quickly. I promise you do not have to wait too much longer for that moment to come. But in the meantime, you're going into your second round of the TikToks, and make sure, again, that you really feel the core engagement, all right? So you probably feel a little fatigue there because we've done some good core exercises earlier in the class too. And TikToks are no joke. So just remember to keep breathing. Remember to keep focusing on your form, okay? Don't let yourself start trying to compensate with, you know, pulling your neck forward like a turtle, pulling your arms forward to bring yourself back up to that balanced position. All right, none of that. We want to make sure that we are at all times doing the exercise correctly. And if that means that you only do, you know, 2 reps, but you do them beautifully, I would rather you do that than do 20 reps and have your form be bad, okay? Because that way, if you're doing 20 reps with the wrong form, not only are you training your body incorrectly, but you are setting yourself up for injury down the line, which is just not what we want. You know, we want to be able to be active and, you know, able to move around and do all the things that we want to do for as long as we can. And if we are setting ourselves up for injuries, then we are getting in the way of that goal. You know, I focus on exercise as a tool in in your toolbox for a healthy life, for an active life, for a life where you can do all the things that you want to do, whether that's still being able to walk up and down stairs when you're 80, or, you know, go chasing after your grandkids in the yard, or climb a 14er, or, you know, work in your garden. Exercise is a great way to make sure that we're still able to do all of those things, no matter how old we are. And that's why I really like to focus us on doing the exercise correctly. Because when we start there, when we give ourselves that solid foundation, then we end up with the ability to keep moving for longer. All right? All right, you're doing your cross jacks, but I promise you won't have to do them for long. We are going to go into calf awareness in just a second, and that will be the last thing that we do. All right? So get ready. As soon as that timer goes, we're just standing flat on one foot, balancing on that foot. Your goal is to manage any micro movements that you need to make for the balance using only your foot and your ankle on the standing leg. So we want to give them all of the assistance we can, and that means making sure that the rest of our body is not going to go wobbling in a direction we don't expect it to go. So while you're here, make sure that you've engaged all of the stabilizing muscle groups that are going to help. Starting with your core to really keep the weight of the torso in line. Your glutes and your quad on your standing leg will then connect into the work that the core is doing. And together, basically everything from the knee up is controlled by those muscle groups. All right, switch feet. And so by the time we get down to the ankle doesn't actually have to do that much work because all of the rest of the weight of the body is being controlled. Because the ankle is not a large portion of the body, and so for it to be in command of the balancing process can be really intense. So you want to give it as much assistance as you can, and you'll feel the difference. Just try letting those muscle groups go. See how wobbly you get, and then bring them back, activate them, and go see what the difference is. Does it feel markedly easier to maintain this balance with a minimum of other movements? Because that's how it should feel. So hopefully it does. All right, back to that first foot. We are still balancing on that foot, but you are trying to balance up on the ball of the foot now. So our goal is still holding the balance the whole time and managing any micro movements from the foot and ankle. However, recognizing that it's a lot harder to do it from the ball of the foot, which is a much smaller, less stable surface area. So totally understandable if you end up having to shift around a bit. All that I ask is that if you are up on the ball of your foot and you go, ooh, I'm gonna fall out of this, try and control bringing your heel down, reset, try again. So still try and keep that control even as you're coming out of the balance. All right, switch feet, same thing, other side. You will probably notice that one side of your body is better at balancing than the other. You will also notice me moving around a lot on my mat. This is because I've got these puzzle pieces under my mat, and they're a very flexible surface, which means that basically as soon as I start doing this balance, they start depressing under my foot, and the surface is no longer flat. So when I come out of the balance, what I will tend to do is I will shift to a flatter portion of the mat and bring myself up. I don't know if it actually helps. Honestly, the best thing is just to get the puzzle pieces out of the way altogether, but here we go. All right, back to that first foot. You're gonna now do a rocking motion. So we're going to be coming up on the ball and then rock back on the heel. All right, so I'll show you from the side. Up on the ball, back on the heel. Up on the ball, back on the heel. And you're just going to go back and forth between those two positions the whole time. You still want to be engaging all those stabilizing muscle groups. They are still going to help, especially when there's more motion involved. It's a lot easier for my weight to knock me in one direction or the other. So definitely check in. Is your core still engaged? If it isn't, try and re-engage it. See how that feels. See how that changes the experience. Maybe you're falling over less or feeling a little less wobbly, okay? All right, other foot, same thing. So up on the ball, back on the heel. You can also feel free as you are coming back on the heel, let the butt go out a little bit. You don't have to keep a straight line of the body, because then you'd just be lifting your toes off the floor, which would be really, really intense for your shins. So you can rock the whole body. Woo. But yeah, you see, I lost track of my core. I was talking and I lost track of my core, and then my balance really started to suffer. So definitely try and keep that in mind. Try and keep in mind that even when you are moving, you still want to be engaging all of those stabilizing muscle groups. You still want to make sure that your torso is not going somewhere you don't expect. Last exercise, you're just rolling back onto both heels, and you're not letting your toes come back to the ground until the final timer goes off. All right, so try and balance in one spot. If you feel like you're gonna fall, then you can move around a little bit, and then try and balance, and then adjust. But the only thing I can't do is let my toes come down to the ground, all right? So this is really activating and engaging your shins. Holy crow. If you're new to this, it's gonna feel really intense. It will get easier, but it's gonna feel really intense. All right, fewer than 10 seconds left, my friends. So not too much more time. Try and balance if you can, but hey. Oh, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. And that's it. Oh man, I can't wait till I have a better camera setup. Oh, yeah, that's, you know, calf awareness really isn't telling you anything you don't already know, but it's still good strengthening exercises. Oh, good class, everyone. Good job. Good job. I know how intense Tuesdays are. The constant moving around is no joke, and I'm super proud of you for coming to class on a Tuesday and being able to keep moving the whole time. Make sure you're drinking some water, all right? Ah, there we go. And I think a good big dinner is in order, so that you can replenish all those glycogen stores, which take about 24 hours to fully replenish, and just make sure you're taking care of yourself. We have 3 more classes on our broadcast schedule. So tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time, all my classes are in Mountain Time. Tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. we've got Jump Around, which is our weekly cardio class. Friday at 6 p.m. is functional home fitness, where we do weight training using objects that you can find around the house. So a lot of lifting laundry detergent bottles, if I'm totally honest. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused body weight class. So definitely check some of those out if any of those sound like fun. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of those handles will be in my end cards. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where I upload all of the VODs from these streams, and there's going to be a lot of supplemental material going up there as well, so it's going to be a great resource for classes on days when we don't have streams, or if you missed a stream and want to take it later. It's going to be a great resource for form videos, stretching sequences, warm-up sequences, so definitely head over there and subscribe if that's your jam. If you want to help me keep making these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Donations are always appreciated, never required. And if you want to help me keep growing this channel, follow the channel. It's the easiest thing. That and coming back for class are the two easiest things that you can do to help keep growing this channel, keep supporting this work. I'm super excited to be doing it, and I'm happy to have y'all here. So thanks for coming to class. Have a great rest of your night, and perhaps I will see some of you back here tomorrow. Mwah. Have a great night.